Fire struck this afternoon, causing more than $500,000 in damage to a recycling plant at Vaucluse, St. Thomas. Shane Seeley has that story.
Now, fire broke out here at the Sustainable Barbados Recycling Center at close to 3 o'clock, originating in this pile of rubbish. What it initially was a set of mattresses being processed for recycling. We understand that the fire spread very quickly, moving from that heap of old mattresses onto the building nearby.
That picking plant enables us to do separation of the waste, and yes, we have lost some of the conveyor belts, which will have to be replaced. I can't give you a good estimate on what the replacement cost will be. As far as the effect on operations, obviously it will have an effect. We will be able to work around it though, because we're able to do what we call floor sorting, which is sorting off the conveyor belt.
Fire officials took about 2 hours to get the blaze under control, preventing it from spreading even further. Mr. Paris says it will take him until year end to get the facility up and running again. The losses, he says, are substantial.
The equipment losses probably are around $500,000 or so in losses. But that is a very wild guess at the moment. I don't really know what the numbers would be.
Now, police and fire officials are working to determine what actually caused the fire. There are cameras attached to the building, so they will be rolling back some of that footage. But luckily, no jobs were lost as a result of the fire, and there have been no injuries reported. I'm Shane Seeley for CBC News.
Cleo Holdings Barbados Limited has been placed under receivership with immediate effect. A press release issued this evening by the judicial manager Deloitte Consulting Limited says the decision is in keeping with the basis of its appointment to act in the interest of policyholders. Deloitte says that by placing Cleo Holdings Barbados Limited under receivership, it is intent on preserving the assets of CHBL and maximizing the recovery value on behalf of policyholders. In his interim report filed on May 27, 2011, the judicial manager identified that parent company Cleo International Life reported assets of $802 million, of which $370 million were amounts due from related companies, including CHBL, which owes $319 million. Deloitte says, as such, the realization of the CHBL debt is crucial to any plan for the effective restructuring of the entity. The final restructuring plan, as set out by the judicial manager in its report on June 14th this year, estimates that the total assets of CIL as of the 31st of December 2012 amounted to $448 million at fair market value, of which $173 million represents assets due from related companies. Deloitte says the final restructuring plan is predicated upon the inclusion of assets of CHBL in a new company. As such, it contends that the judicial manager must be in a position to transfer the realizable value of CHBL's indebtedness to the benefit of CIL in order for the final restructuring plan to succeed. Well, could the H1N1 influenza virus, better known as bird flu, be circulating in Barbados? Well, there is concern in some quarters that this may very well be the case. The last time the virus was detected here was during the pandemic in 2009 and 2010. Shane Seeley investigates.
Fresh worries about the resurgence of the H1N1 virus here in Barbados following confirmation that an influenza-like illness is circulating on the island. The Ministry of Health has confirmed that they are looking into the situation. Officials have already sent samples collected from patients here for investigation at 2 government laboratories. Some of those samples have also been sent on to CARFA, the Caribbean Public Health Agency based in Trinidad, for further testing. There is already alarm over in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They have confirmed at least 6 cases of the H1N1 influenza virus. Now back at home, the Ministry of Health says a shipment of seasonal influenza vaccines should be available here by month end. These vaccines will be provided to frontline workers and persons most at risk. Meanwhile, the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Joy St. John, wants Barbadians not to be confused between the symptoms of influenza and those for dengue fever.
To differentiate between dengue and influenza. With dengue, you will never have respiratory symptoms. You may have nausea, you may have vomiting, but it is primarily fever, joint pain, pain at the back of the eyes. Once you are having these symptoms, and if you have a worsening of symptoms, remember with dengue, if you're going on to dengue hemorrhagic, you may have oozing at the gums, you may have unusually heavy periods. If you see that sort of thing and it's going along with fever and joint pain, it is important that you seek the doctor's attention immediately.
Dr. St. John has also been revealing the factors leading to the sudden and rapid increase in the number of confirmed cases of dengue fever in Barbados. Yesterday it was announced that up to September this year, 511 confirmed cases have been recorded, more than tripling the 169 cases registered for the same period in 2012. She described the current dengue situation as scary.
Not only are we dealing with the effects of climate change, the mosquito likes the heat, but also remember that our research showed that this mosquito is developing faster than the textbooks say. So with the heat, the rain, and I have to tell you that the research showed that it grew very well in the grass, and we have a lot of bush. The combination of the three and the fact that it is domesticated, it grows on premises, home and work, have produced an increase in the mosquitoes, and then persons who have not had the strain that is currently circulating, there are quite a few of them, persons are developing it.
The Ministry of Health is also awaiting results of an autopsy to determine the cause of death of a woman recently. If that person died as a result of dengue fever, it would be the second such death for the year. Shane Seeley, CBC News.
A novel effort to develop entrepreneurship in Barbados and the Caribbean starts here next week. That's when the new reality business-focused TV show Bank on Me is launched on CBC TV 8.
Executive Director and producer of Bank on Me, Alison Saunders, says the series is aimed at creating awareness about how small and medium-sized businesses can attract investment in an entertainment format. The ultimate goal, she says, is to develop entrepreneurship in Barbados and the Caribbean. The first shows will be aired Tuesday on CBC at 8:05 and on Caravision Sunday at 8:30.
We really want to encourage entrepreneurship in the Caribbean, and this program, what you see on TV is just a part of it. Beneath all of that, there's been a lot of preparation. We've been having workshops for the contestants every week, and they go away with mentors. They each have a mentor, and the mentor is provided by the show through our various partners, and they work with them on their challenges that they have to do every week. So it's been very satisfying to see them over the weeks improve their businesses, improve their approach to the businesses, rethink things so that they can probably be more attractive to investors.
Ms. Saunders says at the end of the series, the producers want to present 6 finalists to investors.
We have 11 people who have already said yes, we want to consider your projects for investment. That's very important. Along with Scotiabank, who are a very supportive partner, they'll be considering some of the projects for debt financing, as well as Fund Access, another partner who also provide that financing. Caribbean Export will be choosing at least one of these businesses as a client, and that will give them opportunities for grants, for trade missions, for expertise. So it's a multifaceted kind of program, and the public, we're inviting the Barbadian public and the Caribbean public to support these entrepreneurs through crowdfunding.
Meanwhile, Lisa Cole, Senior Marketing Manager at Scotiabank, is pleased with the response.
We're very excited to have this vehicle to explain to people what goes into growing a business and making your business successful.
The producers of Bank on Me want future series to incorporate more countries in the region and to be shown extra-regionally as well. Sean Farrell, CBC News.
Well, Barbadians were given some important tips to having a successful business. They were provided through a forum entitled Entrepreneurship and Multiple Streams of Income, held last night at the Wilder Gymnasium. International wealth strategist Kalpesh Patel provided participants with information of what's needed to get their businesses up and running and sustaining it. He told Barbadians that there is nothing wrong with dreaming, as the ability to dream has led to the creation of many products we use today.
The chair that you're sat in right now was one day somebody's dream. There was a time when chairs didn't exist. There was a time when buildings didn't exist. There was a time when light bulbs didn't exist. Electricity didn't exist. But somebody had a dream and they said, you know what, I wonder what it would be like without candles. And without that dream, if it wasn't somebody dreaming that, if Einstein hadn't thought of that idea, you with me? Edison rather. If Edison hadn't thought, I wonder what it would be like without candles, we'd be sitting here with candles. And so everything that exists is because somebody thought, I wonder if.
Mr. Patel says the world has changed a lot over the past 20 years, citing the speed at which information is delivered. He says there is big business on the internet and provided some insight into a new program called Cube 7, developed by the company Bonafo out of Germany. That program was developed over the last 18 months and is compared with Facebook.
It goes live next month at the end of October. If you can picture Facebook, but with added value, that's Cube 7. The biggest kind of medium on the internet is social media. Does that make sense? Facebook absolutely dominates the internet. And then there are other spin-offs like Twitter and LinkedIn, and there's lots of other companies that are also doing really, really well.
The Pine Hill Dairy has unveiled an initiative to encourage more Barbadians to drink milk. It's an essay competition which was launched at the Grantley Prescott Primary. The theme is "My Parents Should Ensure I Drink Milk Every Day" and is intended to emphasize the benefits of milk in helping children to develop strong bones, teeth and hair. Commercial Manager Beverages Caribbean Limited, Henry Yearwood, says Pine Hill Dairy is delighted to be associated with the project.
Today, internationally, is World Schools Milk Day. There are over 40 countries, 40 to 50 countries around the world who celebrate World School Milk Day. It's an initiative which started in the year 2000, and it essentially is targeted at encouraging children to learn more about milk and understand the benefits that milk has in their own nutrition and as they grow.
Mr. Yearwood says 4 children will each win a tablet and their schools will each receive $1,000. Schools have until October the 22nd to submit their essay entries, and the winners will be chosen on October the 28th. Principal of Grantley Prescott Primary, Marlene Abrams, also expressed thanks to the Pine Hill Dairy for choosing her school for the launch.
I'm extremely happy that Pine Hill Dairy has chosen our school to launch this program, this particular activity, and I am sure that all the students will be extremely keen. We do need some resources here, and any winnings will certainly go a long way to, help us in that regard.
Students of the St. Christopher Primary weren't afraid to get their hands dirty as they got first-hand experience in plant propagation. Today's exercise was organized by the National Conservation Commission as part of their efforts to promote Arbor Day and to get Barbadians to not only understand the importance of trees, but how to grow and care for them. Special Projects Officer at the NCC, Ricardo Marshall, believes it is crucial that children know the basics.
I find that when you get yourself intimately involved in it, as people say, you get your hands dirty, and you understand it, and you plant a tree or a plant and see it grow. You nurture that plant and you water, you take care of it, you give it fertilizer and so on, and you see that grow. There's a sense of accomplishment, and that is what we want to instill in the children. We want them to understand that.
Mr. Marshall also wants Barbadians to consider planting food crops alongside their ornamental plants.
Yes, people like ornamental plants. I love ornamental plants as well because people like color, people like beauty, and there's a place for the ornamental plants as well. But especially in these times when we're still in recessionary times and so on, and you have a fruit tree in your yard where you can go out and pick some mangoes, some guavas and so on. You know, it saves you having to go and purchase these things because it's important for your health.